Good morning, Kansas City, and welcome to another edition of KCPS Homeroom. I am your host, Chris Odom from the Kansas City Public Schools, where I work as the English coordinator. This morning, I am joined by another of my prior students from Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts, Miss Ronnie Marsalis. Yes, okay. And I'm not going to mess up like that over and over again. I'm pretty sure I know who she is. We want to account for the artist's name. So let me make sure she gives you a chance to find out how you can find her. And we're going to go through this process today and learn a little bit about what she's been doing since she graduated recently, quite a bit, I think. And so will you give us an update and tell us what's been going on with you? And what year did you graduate from Paseo Academy?
Whew. I graduated in 2012. So, and since then, since graduating, I took a year off to go to college. I went to Mizzou, which is where I wanted to go. I was studying architecture and with an emphasis on interior design. And while I was on campus, I would go to visit the vagina monologues and be participating in dance, with a dance team and doing spoken word for the Black and Gold pageant. And I discovered, I really like spoken word poetry. And that's what started the transition for me since leaving school. I ended up leaving college and pursuing a spoken word journey. I came back to Kansas City. I went to excuse the sound, but I went to participate with the Bold Poets and went to UCM and performed some spoken word. I performed some spoken word for the Black United Front. Then I ended up moving to New York, and that opened up another realm of possibilities. I was on a college tour. I participated in a Muhammad Ali documentary and the director says, well, shoot, Ronnie, you won us an NAACP Image Award. So in 2016, so since then, I kind of just kept pursuing that path of spoken word and music. And now, fast forward, after leaving New York, I was in Dallas for a little bit. Then I went to California, still doing the same things, working on music, performing. And now I'm back here in Kansas City, and I released a new album titled Amnesia that tells you a lot about what I went through.
Very cool. Awesome. And I've heard this album and I've heard the song that we're going to listen to here in a little while. And then it's so exciting to have you here to talk to us about what we will unveil here in Kansas City in a minute. Tell me a little bit about what prepared you to go out and do that. Did you get any prior experiences? And I kind of know you did, since I was one of those people back there at Paseo watching people decide to be in a show. And so, I don't know what attracted you to being part of it back then and what keeps you doing it now?
So what attracted me to doing it back then, first and foremost, the therapy that you get. You have a voice, a place where if you feel in a way and you don't know how to articulate those feelings, writing, doing poetry, performing, period, creating art, period, is therapeutic. So that is what attracted me to it. It was therapeutic, and not only was it therapy for me, I noticed that it was therapy for other people. Other people looked into what I was doing and found inspiration. So that right there, aside from just living my purpose and my calling, that's what keeps me going. And also the selflessness of knowing that, other people might need to hear what I have to say, because ain't nobody saying it for them. That's what also keeps me going and pursuing it.
Okay, well, we have a treat today. We're going to go ahead and experience one of Ronnie's songs here. And this one's called Fool in Love. It is from the album Amnesia, right? And I remember you and I had a talk about what would be a good choice. And the fact that it's set in Luce Park really seems special. I've lived here a long time, right? Do you like that park? Has that been a part of your experience in Kansas City? Why did you choose Loose Park?
The song is, what's funny is the day that I actually filmed, there was a couple there taking wedding pictures.
Oh yeah, lots of people
And
do
you're
that.
right, and the song is, it's called "Fool in Love." So I'm like, where do people go in Kansas City to be all in love and stuff? And I'm just like, The director, he was like, we can do Loose Park. They have a bunch of flowers, and it sets the tone for what you're talking about. It's I wanted the feel of it to be organic, and a lot of people love Loose Park. When people tell me, they're like, "Oh, I seen your video. You filmed that in Loose Park." A lot of people, a lot of natives here really appreciate it too. So I just kind of felt like it's a good representation. It was a good representation of me, where I'm from, the beauty that we have here. And it's a landmark that a lot of people go to experience. Even non-natives go there when they hear, just visiting.
Okay, well, let's take a second here on this morning on ELA Tuesday and check out Ronnie's song. I think I'm failing to say your artist name correctly. Can you tell me it for sure so I get it right?
It's Ronnie Marsalis. You can say
I had it. I just want to be sure. So this is Ronnie Marsalis, Fool in Love. We're just going to watch a snippet for about 1:30. We'll be back to talk about it.
Uno.
They say meteoroids created water, but if I'm the daughter created by a father, why am I so unbothered by this fantasy that love is meant to be, but not for me? I say this candidly. Tell me, can it be that I play Cinderella, lose my slipper at midnight, and be chased by a fella? But instead I'm chasing beach, just call me Spinderella, hanging with friends until I learn to love me better. And I laugh at it, but it ain't no joke. Praying that I find hope and I stay woke and I don't choke. And I've been spoke on this topic. Got it, they won't stop it. These bottles, I gotta pop it. These feelings, they been atomic. As I cry myself to sleep, hoping I'm not weak, and I still get on my knees and pray to God, cause I'm thankful that I beat the odds. And you ain't gotta tell me nothing, cause you been a fraud.
All right, that was a snippet of Fool in Love from Ronnie Marsalis from her album Amnesia. And we're going to talk about it, a little bit of unpacking to do of why and what she was trying to say in this song. You might have a hint when it's called Fool in Love. I hope you appreciated and enjoyed the talent that I began to know, I think, as far back as when you were a sophomore in high school. Do you remember how old you might have? Was that right?
Yep, you had it on point.
Okay, I try to guess, but it's somewhere in there, right? And that's probably the first time you tried out for Coffee House or did a piece. So, and you were which major at Paseo? Because I know you not necessarily a creative writer. Is that right?
I was actually a theater major for sophomore year, and then junior and senior year, I want to say junior year, I switched over into dance.
Gotcha. So if you don't know, Paseo Academy in Kansas City Public has majors, and students can select an area of expertise. What was so exciting for me is I ran a show there called Coffee House, and we didn't limit the groups we pulled from. We over the years, we realized the talent with writers and everybody was in a lot of the other departments just as much as it was in our own creative writing department. Like a lot of the visual artists possess just this rich ability to make visual things happen in their writing. So really fun. I was honored for all the years that we had those shows. It was amazing is we only charged like $3 or $5. And I knew for a fact in 5 minutes, it was worth that much. It was like, get ready for a show that's worth $3 or $5. It's worth $35 some nights, I think. So, okay.
Yeah, Coffee House was good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying Coffee House was good. One of my graduates one of my friends who graduated with me, Bam Brandon.
Yeah.
He made me cry reciting a poem at Coffee House one day.
Yeah.
And then you remember Tyler Johnson? Made me cry with his dancing at Coffee House. So Coffee House has some deep,
very deep
tear jerkers.
Yeah, respect due to Tyler Johnson and his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about "Fool in Love." It's you're capturing an awful lot in that, like the verse, the quickness of your rhyming, like the patterning that you're coming up with there. I think I've always been kind of wishful that we would have more female artists take on, kind of the challenge there. And I've always just been dying for like another voice. We have some. I don't know who maybe you'd recommend somebody to me, but for you, like that's rocking. Like what do you like about this song, or what do you think other people like about this song?
The passion. I love the passion. I love my delivery. I love the honesty, the transparency of it, and lyrically, I love it. I will say it's one of my best songs to me. Just before I even wrote it, I was watching some National Geographics, and they were talking about how the universe came to be and how the earth came to be, and just how meteoroids created water and certain elements in the earth. And I'm just like, when I started it, when I approached the song, I'm like, well, if that's true, and I was, then if that's how the earth came to be, then I came to be, through my father, then why am I not feeling like, I'm meant to have that Cinderella kind of love, or just that type of stuff? If things are meant to be, why isn't it meant to be for me? If things have a way of working out and coming from something, my path ain't lining up that way, because I keep getting heartbroken, so that's kind of the approach that I had with that song. And
sure. So, while I'm hearing your amazing answer, that by no means sounds like what we condition people to do in school. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm wondering, like, how you would advise other young people to keep this kind of like spiritual realm or awareness to me, like the philosophy of things. I was talking to Unique, and he's still driven a lot by some philosophy that he applies kind of through Buddha, about the restless mind. And we were like, wow, so to me, that doesn't happen a whole lot when in our curriculum and the things that we intentionally write into school. So like, what do you do to make that happen instead? Or how does that happen for you? Like, how do you make that part of you stay alive?
I would say anointing, prayer, reading the Bible, reading holy scriptures, and just keeping in mind all the time that if I wouldn't listen to it, don't write it. If I wouldn't want my child to listen to it, don't write it. If I wouldn't want, my fellow students, to listen to it, don't write it. You just have to have, stay true to you, what your sound is, because a lot of times when is it Unique, you said?
Unique.
That stays in tune with just the spirituality of things. And a big part of staying in tune with the spirituality of things is staying in tune with you, your path, who you are sent to be here on this earth. Because everybody has a sound, a voice, a path. You have to find your voice in the midst of it. And eventually, from books that you read, your things that you do on a daily, whatever you entertain yourself with or indulge in, that's what's going to come through your pen. Like, that's what's going to come. And as I said, before I even started writing, I was watching National Geographic and also contemplating a recent heartbreak. So I just combined the two. You just kind of got to be in tune with you, what your interests are, and write from that place.
Well,
or
thank
create
you so much.
art from that place.
it's so rare to get to kind of unpack what's going on in the artist's mind before they write a piece like that, and for you to be able to place it back in such a cool way, it's really fantastic. And I hope the same stories exist for all great songs, but I wonder, sometimes people are like, nah, I just wrote it down. So that's really, really exciting. And I can hear you're driven by a lot of the things that you maybe started to discover early on that have not disappeared, only kind of grown. So that's always fulfilling and exciting to hear from people that I knew a long time ago. I dare say that was a long time ago. We start to think that way. So again, we've been on here talking with Ronnie Marsalis this morning on KCPS Homeroom. Let's let you send us out of here, Ronnie. Is there anything you'd tell a young student who's pursuing their dreams only in their head so far? What would you tell them about that?
It ain't nothing to it but to do it.
That's
it's for real. When and the last thing I still do this. The procrastination, just knock that out the way. And the work ain't even hard. It's not as hard as you think it's gonna be when you ain't sitting in your head. So just do it. Just get the ideas out and they start flowing and they start making a way for you. Just do it.
Yep.
Don't let nobody deter you from what you feel it is you need to be doing.
Great advice. All right, Casey, you heard it here.
Not even yourself.
If you're out there right now thinking, what is this show and how do I get more involved? My name is Chris Odom. You see it up there on the screen. You turn that into an email address by just putting CODAM and kcpublicschools.org on the end. You send me your email. You tell me what you do. We could get together this same format and talk about it. Again, I've been interviewing quite a few students that I used to teach to get this started. But what's exciting is this same process needs to continue with the people who are currently enrolled in our public school system. And I know you're out there. If you're interested in getting involved in public speaking, spoken word, performance, please write me and let me know where you go to school. You may already have a team, you may have a coach, or you may need one. So if you don't want to compete, that's also totally fine. Not every poet is a performer. Also, I'm interested in speaking to people who are not creative writers, technical writers, all forms of writers. I'm talking this afternoon with another student who is working on developing his own business, and he thought he really didn't write very much. I told him, I bet you write as much as anybody else. It's just making you money, like immediately, right? So please come talk to me. Again, thank you so much, Ronnie. It's been fun. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mr. Odom.